getting exciting. I got to get off to my day. It's lunchtime in the dining room. I got some projects going on. If you want to follow me, we'll walk to the dining room and see what's going on down there.
Hold on, let me grab a piece of paper.
My staff, everybody busy? Say hi, Kath.
Hi.
Carrie over there on the phone. Okay, we have a
You left the phone machine?
big project going on. I hired 2 of the veterans that live here, and they are replacing the carpeting here in our hallway. It was very, very, very dirty, and part of that disaster that we had a few weeks ago from the walk-in freezer, when the freezer went down and all the meat in there thawed and all the drippings kind of went under that outer wall into the carpeting, and there was a really bad smell. So part of that got into the carpet. So anyway, it was all dirty anyway, and so we're replacing all this. But you see our little project going on. You know what? Let's take a walk into the lobby. I want to show you the lobby space. So I don't know if I guessed right, but whatever, 10 by 12. This is where we drop off right now. To be honest with you, it's so far a slow day in comparison, but I'll show you one more room here. These are some of the items that I have to take to the granary and then up to the mill market. We already have the van loaded to take new merchandise down to our store down the street. So it's almost kind of overload. Oh, here's my new fave.
Did you want me to make you a plate?
Yeah, we're gonna have some lunch. Do you mind being on camera?
Sure.
Okay, so this is Michael. Say hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I was talking about you a few minutes ago. So do you want to tell just a nickel version of your story, when we met, how we met?
Yeah, I was staying at the homeless shelter in Warren, and
Matt's. He was at Salvation Army Matt's program.
at the mass program. And so, like I was saying, you only get 90 days to be there. So I was probably 1 week out of that 90 day, and then I met somebody, and they were like, "Oh, you're a veteran? Oh, okay. You know, I've been homeless before, so you know, come stay with me." Then once I got there, then everything changed. It started being about money, and then trying to control me. Here, go do this, go do that,
So it turned bad for you.
and it turned bad.
And then
so
what
I was on the street, and I had met one of the ladies from whatever that place is. Her name is Gail Marlowe.
Oh, from Motor City Mittens.
Yeah, from
We
Motor
worked
City
together.
Mittens.
Yeah.
And she mentioned this place. And at that point, I really was just taking information, but I didn't know that a couple of days later I would need you. And I called, and I'll never forget, you said, "Stay right there. Don't worry about nothing."
Where were you?
I was in Warren at the library, Civic Center library.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
Okay, so Michael calls me, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and I said, "Honey, where are you?" And he said, "I'm at the library, and I don't have anywhere to go." And I said, "Do you have a way to get to us?" And he said, "Not really." And I said, "Okay, just stay where you are. I'll send a car to come and get you." And there was nobody here available to drive. We have a real shortage of vehicles. Not only do we not have a company vehicle for vets returning home so that these guys, we can transport them down to the hospital or job interviews or bank or whatever, grocery store, but the veterans that live here don't have vehicles. So anybody interested in donating vehicles, right here's the place, because you can hand the keys right to one of these guys. Anyway, when I'm talking to him on the phone, I said, "So are you employable or are you disabled?" And he said, "Oh, I'm employable. I have lots of applications out right now, right?"
Correct.
I said, "What kind of work do you do?" And he said, "I'm a cook." And I kid you not, as I'm talking to him on the phone, I went, "Praise Jesus, thank you, God," right? Because the kitchen at that moment was a disaster. So I ended up taking another veteran with me. We went and picked him up at the library, and we stopped and had lunch.
Did we ever?
Right?
Did we ever?
And we had a chance to talk. And I told him, I said, there may be an opportunity for you. My kitchen managers, they get paid a small stipend. It's not a whole lot of money. Do you mind if I tell?
You can tell them.
Okay, so the kitchen job pays $1,000 a month, and it comes with it. He gets his own private apartment with his own private bathroom, so he doesn't have to stay in a dorm style room with the guys upstairs. He gets his own apartment and $1,000 a month, and we cover all of his basic needs. If he needs clothes or shoes, he just gets a voucher, goes to the store. So kind of a pretty good win-win.
That's exactly what I was going to say. A win-win
Right.
situation. A lot of times when you're in desperation, then we start doing desperate things instead of using those resources that are available to veterans. I think that's very important
Yeah.
that we lean
Well,
heavily on.
what I see, and now Michael had explained you have bone on your knee,
Bone on bone and then a hip injection.
and then he's got a hip problem that he needs he's got to medically address. So the fact is, you really can't go get a restaurant cook job that's going to make you run to serve hundreds of people a day and work 12-hour shifts. So that's been his issue. So this job, you cook dinner, you make enough for leftovers for lunch the next day, you warm that up, and then the breakfast here is continental style. So the breakfast is kind of easy. Make sure there's hard-boiled eggs out there. Guys help themselves. So this is not a big labor-intensive, let's push you to the max like a regular job would be. So until Michael is able to heal his injuries, get the surgeries and the physical therapies, he can stay here. Hi, come on in. Lunchtime.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good, honey. How are you?
Thank you.
How you doing?
This is one of our volunteers and a veteran that pops in. He doesn't live here. Pops in, has lunch with the guys, and then he offers to drive them around to places they may need, to go, whatever, post office and that kind of stuff. So anyway, the point is I want to make though is, so Michael, how long have you been here?
Not even a week.
Not even a week.
It'll be a week.
And he immediately took over the kitchen, because we always say when someone first comes in, I tell you, take the pack off and relax a little bit. He didn't do that. He went right into the kitchen, and I gotta tell you, the food is absolutely phenomenal. Like, made the best chili. I told him this, the best chili I've ever had. Everything is done, I can tell, as a labor of love for you. And
Absolutely.
yeah, we appreciate you.
I appreciate
Give me a hug.
you. Appreciate you too.
I'm so happy that I don't have to cook anymore. Not that I'm a bad cook. I just don't know how to cook a lot of things. I just, but they deserve better cooking than me. And honestly, I can't do it all and do it all well,
I appreciate you.
So anyway, cool.
Thank you.
All right, what's for lunch today?
Well, they killed the macaroni. That's why I usually scoop it.
Yeah.
They're double scooping it. I looked out, I'm like, so. But for dinner, I think we're gonna have meatloaf and mashed potatoes,
Oh, nice.
and I'm gonna try to put something else special together.
All right, very
Okay.
cool.
All right, have a
Thank you
good day.
so much. Thank you. All right, let's go. I think, well, like you said, everybody's already kind of self-served and wiped. The food is phenomenal. So I don't think he made enough, because everybody went in for big loads of seconds, is what he's saying. So let's go see. The little tour. We call this the Hall of Fame. So these are all the testimonials, letters of appreciation, letters from the veterans that have stayed here, just saying thank you. Just letters from the community, some of our press releases, things like that. So it's kind of cool. A little quick tour into the kitchen. We'll just walk through. Can we walk through your kitchen, Michael?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
That should be pretty clean.
Right? Putting out some watermelon for the guys. I'll take a piece myself. Nice. It didn't last long, did it? Now, did you make the homemade macaroni and cheese? You didn't just open the Kraft box? Yeah, well, they would have got the Kraft box for me. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. I would love to finish this up with the actual tour of the entire facility, but for those of you that have been following, you know that I broke my tailbone, crushed 2 vertebrae. There's no way I can walk this whole facility. So I'm gonna put a little link, and if you click on that link, it'll take you to a virtual tour of the entire program, upstairs, sleeping rooms, the theater, the man cave, the laundry room, all that stuff. Then with that said, I'm gonna finish this bowl of amazing soup. Thank you, Michael. And then I'm gonna zip down to the store. So we'll pick this back up at the store. Thank you.